How's it going, sir?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Any health scares lately?
What, my choking on celery?
And air?
It started with celery.
Celery, the silent killer, hey?
Did you buy me monkey?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you buy me monkey, my little monkey guy?
Probably.
Oh, so you don't remember?
Yeah, it was me.
You don't remember?
I remember 100%. I remember the day I woke up and said, I need to make sure she has enough monkeys in her life. And I went to the monkey store and I bought a monkey.
You were the biggest gorilla of them all.
Just filling in the gaps.
You have no clue.
Not a recollection to save my life. Nope.
Okay. I thought it was you.
It probably was.
But you don't know.
But you don't know. So I don't know what we're arguing about. So
Well,
right now, I'm willing to accept it and be like, yeah, I did do that for you. You're welcome.
I want to know. I thought it was more special, and now it's not so special because I was looking through albums with my girls. I had left for a couple of years. Didn't think I was ever going to come back. But in the pictures on my bed, because I lived in Australia, on my bed was Monkey. So I must have brought Monkey from Canada.
Which is a strong indicator that he was a present from me.
You broke my heart, though, when I went traveling.
Yeah, ditto.
Well,
packed your bags and left.
You said you would come.
And you were
and
leaving.
You told me to leave.
And I was looking down as you got into the taxi cab to go to the airport from my apartment. And I could hear Leaving on a Jet Plane playing in the other room. And it was super sad. And then it cut to credits.
Did I actually take a cab?
For the purpose of this story, yes. And I watched you from my third-story apartment. And it was sad.
All lies. Everything's
not.
lies.
It's a very poignant scene. And then later on, the sad Hulk walking away music played when I was going to the kitchen.
I highly doubt I took myself.
Zero chance. Zero chance you drove yourself to the airport.
I do remember it was right after 9/11.
Yeah.
My parents are like, what are you doing? I'm like, now is probably the safest time to go.
Yeah. Good. You're back, so you made it.
I made it.
You and Monkey.
But you were supposed to, you were the one who told me to go. It was my dream.
Yeah.
And previous boyfriends made a big deal out of it. And you're like, go.
Yeah. Because I wasn't going to be a dick like other boyfriends, but I wasn't happy.
And then you didn't come and visit.
I didn't know what part of the world you were in for most of the time.
Well, it didn't matter. We broke up anyway.
We did. And yet here we are.
We came back together.
Now here we are. I'm getting blamed and I'm a gorilla. And
well, you didn't want to go traveling and wouldn't even leave your northwest corner of the city. But then as soon as I left, you went where?
yeah,
like
I went on a spite vacation. Spiteful vacation to Greece.
Greece and Mexico.
Mexico is my mom. It's not my fault. Couldn't say no. It's Christmas.
I came back. I came back at Christmas to surprise you.
We have already covered this. I'm not sure where this is coming from on a Tuesday.
I don't know. I just wanted to know if you bought Monkey.
Yes,
that's all.
We covered that. 100% I did.
Alrighty.
It's this guy. What has two thumbs and bought you one of the most meaningful things in your life? This guy right here.
You're my biggest gorilla ever.
I know.
I love you.
And we have little gorillas running around.
We do. All right, but you always say that they're not your monkeys. Not my circus, not my monkeys, or something like that.
Unfortunately, those are 100% my monkeys, and it is my circus. Like, it does, that saying does not apply in this house, even a little bit.
Oh, I thought, oh yeah, I guess you do say it elsewhere.
Yes. Yeah, if I'm out in the public and I'm watching something, I can definitively say, and that's not me, that's like a Hungarian proverb or something. But yeah, it's not my circus, not my monkeys, but you three are most definitely my monkeys in my circus. Yeah. Ping pongs. Ping pong.
What's the ping pong falling down?
Yeah, because the three of you now stand up and you're like immediately, oh, I'm going to fall over.
It's so bad. I went to physio this morning and twice I got up and she's like, are you okay? Because I immediately flopped over. I stood up and flopped over against the wall. Like I just almost blacked out.
People are going to start thinking I'm poisoning you three. Like we can never get up at a table in a restaurant ever. Like I have to leave early and be in the car or else I'll be detained.
And I even had a blood infusion a few weeks ago. It does not seem to have helped.
You should have had like radioactive blood. She-Hulk.
But don't I need to be like bitten by a
No,
spider?
you can just have a blood transfusion from your cousin who happens to be the Hulk.
I didn't have a transfusion. I had an infusion.
Well, infuse some of that there Hulk DNA and you're
Well,
good to go.
go find
Get
Dr.
radiation
Banner
for all.
and I will do it.
You as a Hulk would be really scary.
Why?
Like not you, it would be frightening. Especially when you get a little hyperactive, people would die.
Or driving.
Oh, yeah, you people wouldn't survive the commute.
Hey, but then I wouldn't have to worry about. Maya's driving me to the game tonight, by the way.
Oh, sweet.
She doesn't want to leave an hour early.
At that, let me guess. That's two people that don't want to leave an hour early?
No, I am happy to leave an hour early because then I can work in the car. I get an hour apiece to myself to work in the car. But
Either way, you're getting a ride to the rink. Like, there's no change for you.
That's just it. I'm not driving. So I said, fine, if you want to go to the rink an hour later, but I'm not driving. She's got a coach's call on the way home, but she still has to drive. So that's the deal. I have another guest for today, sir. Andra McHugh.
Well, I was going to be sarcastic. That's very nice of you.
What were you going to say?
I was going to be like, whoop-de-doo, mine never came through. Because it's funnier if it's a rhyme.
Oh. Andra McHugh. Kind of rhymes with whoop-de-doo.
It does. So try to start that over. She would not appreciate this intro.
Why?
Making fun of her name as part of a rhyme.
I'm not making fun of it. I was just incorporating.
Exactly.
I'm not. She is the sweetest, loveliest woman.
Nice.
Was so calm and glowing and beautiful despite having 4 kids. And she actually
despite having 4 kids.
I always wanted 6 kids. Well, we've talked about this because I want that house full of kids. I think it would be fun. And she
did say it was
confirmed. And she even has kids as young, like under 18 months. So
1 through 9.
Yeah.
But not to start something. There were no kids anywhere near her. So was she referring to this period of her day being fun?
Well, because she was in a car. She had to go to the car to get away from her kids.
Yep. You're painting the right picture here, Stanley.
But 4 kids, and she even admitted it's a lot of fun. However, she did have to 2 of her kids had eczema. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. But Andra, she's a matcha-sipping, veggie-loving mom who turned her family's eczema. Eczema? Is that how
eczema.
Eczema?
Yeah.
How do we pronounce it in Canada?
Eczema. And you're pronouncing it eczema.
Is it not eczema?
It's eczema.
Is it ever eczema? Is it
I don't know how many more times I have to repeat it. It is always going to be eczema.
Is it not like tomato?
Yeah, it's eczema. 100%. You nailed it.
Okay, I've never heard of eczema.
Please, Dr. Caroline Buzanko, continue to pronounce eczema.
I'm not an eczema.
Eczema.
It doesn't even sound like a real word.
Doctor doesn't sound like a real title when I put it on you sometimes.
Oh, it's so fair. I am a big boo-boo, and I don't know how I'm a doctor, but that's okay.
Yeah. Pop quiz. Who had a 4.0 GPA and who didn't succeed in university? She's raising her hand. That's absolutely correct. The doctor.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Okay. So eczema.
Yep.
Eczema nightmare into a mission for healthier, happier childhoods. She is host of a popular podcast in Brown, Eczema Kids, and mom to 4 vibrant kids. Andra took her frustration with conventional medicine, which I think we often do, and conflicting dietary advice, and she cracked the code on eczema. So now she's sharing her groundbreaking approach with the world. Andra specializes in a natural, actionable solution that empowers parents to reclaim their children's health. And this isn't just for kids either. Like if you're suffering from it or your parents are suffering from it, this is a great sort of system. And her expertise covers diet and nutrition, simple at-home remedies, and time-saving hacks that make wellness achievable for even the busiest of families.
And she lives in the greatest hockey city in the world.
Denver. Andy loves Denver because that's the home of the Avs.
Yeah, she's in this right state.
And Cale McCarr. Anyways, enjoy. Well, Andra, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Why don't we start off by having you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, my name is Andra McHugh. I host the Eczema Kids podcast and am the founder of the Eczema Kids brand. And, I'm basically one of those classic make your mess your message people. I mean, this was a very big struggle for us, as you would imagine. That's why I've just kind of turned our whole lives around and started this whole project. And it really just started when two of my then three children had really, really severe eczema. And I I took them to the pediatrician, as one does when your child is ill, and it kind of came on really suddenly. Like my 2-year-old at the time just seemed like overnight. And then my third daughter was just basically born with it. They said, oh, she has a neonatal rash, and it just got worse from there as soon as we left the hospital. And basically when we went to that pediatrician appointment, they like guffawed and were shocked and awed at how bad the situation was really in both of their cases. And I said, I know this is why we're here. And he armed me with two prescriptions for steroids and said, you can only apply these if you're wearing gloves. And my baby was just 2 months old at the time, and it felt not right. But in the same breath, he said, this is a chronic condition and there's not a lot you can do aside from these steroids, but you must start applying these right away because this is severe. And that really just started our journey.
Apparently, this is the part we're going to cut out. Apologies. Are you all right?
I just swallowed wrong and I can't recover. And now I'm like sweating and hot.
Yeah,
I'm
looking rough.
Really uncomfortable. But I just swallowed something wrong, but now it feels like I've totally scraped my throat.
Is there something in your water?
Oh, well, it was a piece of celery that I
There it
inhaled.
is. There it is. Okay, so for background, celery, peanut butter, and raisins is 95% of what she eats during the day.
And I just had an actionable right before this, and so I just hadn't fully. Anyway, sorry about that.
No problem.
Well, I can only imagine. I mean, you've got this newborn putting on, well, anything medicinal. I think we always worry about. Our girls had a little bit of eczema, but
it was more like diaper rash. There was a bit of eczema on the back, yeah,
on their back and on their legs, but we had like Glaxol basically.
Yeah,
that was the
we
one
didn't have
thing.
to worry about prescriptions. So you said 2 of your 3 had it right from go. Now, did you third?
4. You've got 4.
4 now, but
I now have 4.
At the time you had 3.
So
you're a good listener.
Thank you. Well, you were dying. So, so with that, did your first or the one that was unaffected initially, have they struggled with that as well? Like, is it looking like at all, or did they just kind of dodge that and it was just the other 2?
No, numbers 1 and 4 have been fine with this issue.
Crazy.
My first has celiacs, and so that's 3 for 4 on autoimmune conditions, unfortunately. And I attribute that to a few things, like one, my history in the dental industry. It was kind of, a big deal. That's a lot of exposure to radiation and chemicals. Unfortunately, it's like a really deleterious field. And then I was also required to have cesarean sections. And, that's just not the way that they're intended to come out. And so I don't think it best suits their health. But we are where we are. And I learned a lot. And then number 4, I don't know if he was just like that by the, grace of God, or if what we were doing really, really did help him, even because of the tummy birth, still be okay. So, yep, that's where we were.
Well, we will get to the whole reason why we have you on, just on what to do about it. But I do think that that's an important thing, just looking at some of the causes and things like that. And I do know I work with children and teens and oftentimes stress. And we don't even think about, this is a whole other topic and I'm going on a tangent here, but we need way more prenatal support because even that prenatal stress can create a lot of problems for our kiddos. And there's baby classes about all the physical things that we need to do, but we should really be putting mothers on a pedestal. They don't have to worry about cooking, taking care of husbands, taking care of other children, just stress-free, because they're building a little human in there. I don't know. I just think that there's so much prenatally that it could be. And then all of like these labors that we hear about, like these traumatic labor stories and the stress that kids go through. So I don't know, I'm going on a bit of a rant, but do you think that there's like those environmental stressors that have contributed to your kids?
I mean, 1000%. It's really controversial, even for me to say. And I know that makes some heads turn, but it's 1000% a factor. And like as you said, there's just a lot of room for improvement, that we could do to help moms prenatally and
Well,
yeah,
I
really
think we've
adjust those.
normalized a lot of that too, right? Like we've normalized being busy and working beyond probably capacity, right? And not even just small things like taking your weekend and enjoying it as a weekend, right? Typically, our weekends are in some ways busier than our 9 to 5. So you add on, having kids, and I'm just thinking back to when we had our first, it was stressful. Like it was a lot of stuff going on, including trying to figure out how we were going to manage having another person in the house, right? So it does, it adds up for sure.
And then four, I can't even
Yeah.
imagine. So,
It's so
so
fun.
yeah, I can. Well, I always wanted a house full of kids for sure. So tell us what you have found in this journey of yours.
Yeah. Well, I've found that really nothing can stop moms on a mission. And then that's, my message is of hope that there's a lot that you can do. You can do everything at home, and that's how you can really turn the dial is by changing what's going on at home. And you start by what you're feeding your kid, and you're the one who's the gatekeeper in your house, and depending on how old your kid is. But for the most part, if they're under 10, right, like you're buying all the food, you're preparing all the food, and you're really making the rules as to what's available. And if you start by just making digestible food, that can go a long, long way toward their healing. Because if you have eczema, I mean, it's without a doubt that you have, leaky gut happening, and just in a lot of cases, just not a capacity to digest really at all. And you can up the digestibility of your foods by one, making them seasonal, combining foods together that go together. Like you wouldn't want to put, like steak with black beans, for instance, like you do it every time you go to Chipotle, because it just requires completely different digestive enzymes. And then some of that, when you do consume those together, some of that is left in your stomach undigested. And then, that goes into your lymphatic system, and it just goes downstream from there. So, things like that, making it anti-inflammatory, using non-spicy herbs and spices, proper food combining, cooking your things rather than making it raw. And then, being aware of like high chemical foods like chocolate and things like that.
Right.
So with that, let's look at the menu piece. So what would be your recommended kind of approach to a standard, let's call it a day, right? Kids are at the door going to school. You're rushing to get them fed before they got to go to sports and all that other stuff in between. So how do you approach that, or what was the shift you made when you started down this path?
Yeah, 1000%. And we do all the things. I have 4 children, ages 9 through 1.5, and the girls are on swim and gymnastics and dance, and we homeschool, and we do a couple co-ops, and so we're out and about, like we're doing all the things. It's really about making it simpler. Like last night we had grilled chicken and broccoli. Like tonight we're having, brown rice noodles, and now they can have cheese. Like, it's not about making elaborate meals. It's not about spending all day in the kitchen. And what I do for what really helps me like get out the door and for success is just feed them last night's dinner for lunch. I kind of cook like I'm making a banquet every single night, and I cook for 12 every night so that then we have enough food to last us during the day, the next day.
Absolutely.
Which is good. When you have kids who will eat leftovers, I have kids who do not. So
They were
I'm the
good when we
one,
forced
I'm
them,
the
but
one who eats all of the leftovers, which
then
is
they thought they
frustrating.
had free will, and they just kind of don't.
Um, yeah, and I think that simplification is really important, because if we start making it too complex and rules, I think that's where people might start out good and intentional. So I guess what are some of the things to look for and to think about, in terms of food combining, for example?
Like, ideally, you're not eating fruit with anything really, but especially like dairy or meat or just these other foods that, like, it makes sense. Like, if you were to put them together, it's like, oh, these don't necessarily go together. Even cold foods, right? Those are really hard to digest. Like, ice cream is fine, in the summer seasonally, right? Like, everything is fine in moderation in the season that it's intended to be eaten, except
Right.
for things like dyes and high fructose corn syrup and things, that aren't meant to be eaten at all. But
Right.
I feel like there's a place for everything. And yeah, so that's one. Fruit and meat, like beans and meat. It's really like starches and non-starchy things. Like, if you want to just pair like a non-starchy vegetable with starch, non-starchy vegetable with meat, non-starchy vegetables basically go with everything. And then everything else
Okay.
you kind of have to pick and choose.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then seasonally, so like fruit on its own, but salads, things like that in the summertime, more soups and stews and hearty meals like
Yeah.
squashes and things like that in the
Exactly,
fall and
exactly.
winter.
Nature has the antidote for exactly what's going on outside, and we are a part of our environment. It just is. And that just helps your circadian rhythm get on track when you eat seasonally, and that helps everyone sleep and ultimately helps healing.
Yeah. And part of that circadian rhythm too is eating at consistent times during the day as well. And obviously bedtime. And I am glad, I just want to go back to one of your earlier points about, up until 10, we actually have control and we want to instill, good values and habits in our children. And I know I got a lot of slack. I'm not going to say whose family, but I got a lot of slack from, some family members of, you can't be so picky all the time because when they're going to go to birthday parties and when they're older, they're going to eat whatever they want. Well, yes. And I don't have control over those things, nor do I want to be that mother who's trying to control everything. But if we're instilling those healthy habits and the foods now, we're teaching them good lessons, right? And so, like, do what we can control so that they can make better choices out there. Because I think that that's always important. But looking back, the girls are like, oh, we used to eat so healthy because we would have vegetables on the plate, or I would do little like tuna wraps in lettuce leaves and things like that that they loved. Like that's for Easter, we would go do our Easter egg hunt, but it was always filled with blueberries, right? Or Cheerios, I think was the worst. That was the biggest treat. But they didn't know any different either,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they don't need to have candy corn all the time or whatever it is. So the food piece is definitely a big one. Is there other things that we can do as well, or is it really just the nutritional aspect?
No, I just suggest starting there because that's just something that you can take action and do like right now, next meal. And then you have to deal with what's going on symptomatically. You have to address the itching. Like, a lot of my clients, their kids are just up all night itching, and that was our struggle. Nobody was sleeping because they were just so uncomfortable. So you're going to want to, like, address the staph and the itching and just the lack of skin barrier. Like, they're just deeply dehydrated. So I have a skincare line. It's got like herbal oils, an herbal oil that just really it draws on like a time-honored tradition, Abhyanga, but it's really just about getting oils that are infused with skin healing herbs. And it's like taking supplements through your skin and putting that on like before their shower or bath. And that's just a way to like protect them, like not only from the chlorinated water, but also just from the elements, really just drying in general. Like, the water actually does kind of like dry out their skin when they're submerged into it. And then of course, like, all the things that you use to as antimicrobials, so that also dries out the skin. And then I have an anti-itch spray that has Chinese herbal, like a Chinese herbal wash in it that really does address like the staph and the itch components, and some peppermint to help cool the skin. And then you follow that up with like a tallow balm that's just deeply, deeply moisturizing. And all those things don't have any preservatives, and they're bioavailable, and that's what I use on my kids. And so I feel comfortable and giving it to other people's kids. But the second step is to deal with symptom management. And that's what, that's where people jump into, because it's like, oh my goodness, they have dry skin. So let's address this with lotion. So it's undoubtedly a variable, but it's not necessarily going to reverse the condition.
Right. And I think we have the society of quick fixes that we just want it gone, but we're not looking at some of those underlying roots. And that's really interesting. Like, we had a specialist on just around acne. And I often see that my kids who have eczema when they're younger have acne when they're older. And a lot of it is still nutrition, stress, all of those types of things. But really, he was talking about all this crap that we put on our face or on our body that's actually making it worse, because it's not addressing like the oils and, just the science of our own, body and all the things that we don't even necessarily need. So, so what is it readily available in Canada? Is it just in the States, or?
No, you can get it anywhere. And that's all on my website at eczemakids.com.
Okay, awesome. And we'll have all of that on the website. Anything else that we need to talk about, or is?
Yes. Then you have to go into, addressing your environment and making your home eczema safe. And at the very least, like, stop bringing in triggers. Like, as long as you know better, you start to do better. And so you want to look at the mold situation at your house and the water and the EMFs and, anything that you can do to lessen the load on your little one's liver.
Okay. And what are EMFs?
Electromagnetic frequency. So it's like coming out of, your router and your TV and anything smart. And
You're putting at me for?
Because I'm talking about.
I can't wait to hear this. No, I can't wait to hear this.
Well, even just some of the waves that are going to give us cancer.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
It's those. It's those
waves.
That's what I'm talking about. And I know men are a harder sell, and my husband was the biggest stickler about it. Not like pro it. He fought me very hard in all of my efforts to kind of minimize this. And it's another one of those things that, makes people look at me sideways, but it really does make a difference. We need to decrease their systemic inflammation.
Yeah.
And that undoubtedly helps.
Okay. See, it's just not me.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm simply here to learn. I'm not judging. I'm listening.
Okay. Are there any other triggers as well? I've already forgotten. So EMFs, I already forget.
Water, mold.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes.
The things that you choose to clean your house with, that's like a really easy start. You can bring in a lot of chemicals that way or omit them. Like, I just make my own stuff with water and tea tree. Like, that's my disinfectant, and reuse. And then I use vinegar for mirrors and windows and things like that, and the floor. Yeah.
Vinegar is a common one in our house for sure.
Yeah. So there's a lot you can do. And I take you through, first, how to identify it, where your attention should go first, because, it's a lot to take on initially, and hopefully you don't have to address all these things. But some people, they really, really need to look into the mold situation. They're like, maybe there's something happening with your laundry machine that's across the hall from the baby's room, or, just things like that you can really, really help them out.
So how would you test for the mold component? Like, what are you doing to try and identify where there might actually be a problem area with that?
Yeah, I use this company called Emuletics, and it's just an at-home mold test, and you can take swabs from all over and you send it in, and they'll let you know, like, here's the counts of the different spores, and if you need to, here's what you need to do to remedy it.
Okay, good to know.
That's a good one. We got to do that.
We got an old house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that that's really good. So you've developed a system. Is it a 3-step system then that or
5?
Oh, 5-step system. Okay.
So I have a whole course that you can DIY. You can go through on your own, or you can do weekly calls with me. Either way, though, you're going to see dramatic improvement. Most of my clients, if they're doing it, they see results within 2 weeks. Like, it doesn't mean it's
Wow.
reversed within 2 weeks, but they're seeing noticeable results, and that gives you the motivation to keep going.
Right.
And eventually all of this becomes just second nature, and you understand the whys and the hows, and it's just as you continue on, that's how you live. And the ultimate goal is to not have to be so stringent, is to, have this healthy living foundation that helps everyone in your family, right? This is lowering everyone's cortisol, it's lowering everyone's inflammation, but then live, a balanced life where you're still eating seasonally and anti-inflammatory when you can, but you can eat eggs and cheese and the occasional, birthday cake, like, it's fine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the goal. You want to be there.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the 5 steps? Just so people.
Yeah. So diet, and then skincare, and then the environmental triggers, supplements, because if you have eczema, there's some severe nutritional deficiencies going on as well. So filling in those holes, and we all know, like, the soil is depleted, and so the food's not even what it used to be. And so if your kid is even eating the beets, like, and they're still not doing, like, the whole job that they once originally did. So that's okay. I have a whole kid approved plan for supplements that they can take, and won't make them ill, and really will help them heal. And then lastly is testing. And that's most people don't have to do that step, but there might be some unique sensitivity that your kid has that you haven't found. And I kind of flip the way that naturopaths go about it, on its head, because at a naturopath's office, you walk in and then you immediately spend a couple $1,000s on some testing, right? And then more on the supplements, and it's helpful to a degree, but also really stressful and very expensive and a little traumatic, depending on how old your kids are. So I like to go about that last, if needed. And like I said, once you get those results, if you go through with those things, the results that you'll get, they won't be lit up like a Christmas tree like they would if you did it as the first step. Now the system has calmed down and can digest some things, and there's some lymphatic movement. And so now it'll just notify you, like, oh, celery for some reason is causing your kid a little bit of strife. So omit that for a while, and then reintroduce it.
Okay. That sounds great. And what are the ages that this works for?
Anybody.
Okay.
I would recommend this if you have eczema at all, even if you're 65. Do this.
Okay.
It would not hurt you. There's just a lot of extras, and this is commonly a concentrated younger child problem. But yeah, my clients are all different ages. I have a lot of school age kids, a lot of middle school kids, that are dealing with all of those issues of going to school and their friends, and just dealing with a lot of things that I'm hoping my kids don't have to deal with by tackling it early.
Yeah. And Willow still gets it from time
Yep.
to time, for
Yep.
sure, like across her back. So, well, wonderful. Thank you so much. We have all of your information that we'll put in the show notes. So that's great for the listeners who are listening. What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, you can go to my website, eczemakids.com. That's where I have the skincare. That's where I have access to the course. I have a free Facebook group, Eczema Solutions for Kids, Natural Healing and Comfort. You can come join us there. And then I have the Eczema Kids podcast, and you can hear that anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.